Hello friends and welcome to the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I am going to talk about one of the worst characters in the game. Now I've put a lot of thought into this and there's a lot of stuff that went into this decision. It was kind of a hard choice because there's a lot of really bad characters. But what I did is I looked for a character that didn't have synergies, that didn't have a ton of tags that could give him additional things that I wasn't thinking about, right? That you guys probably are aware of. That really didn't have a lot of use outside of one or maybe even two specific locations. And sadly, there was only one character that was so pathetic that I could talk about. Everyone else had one or more tags. Other characters were good enough on their own or in more than one area that this character, they just made this character look terrible, more so than he normally is. Now, the character that I'm going to be talking about today is the Ugnaught. And as you can probably see from this video or from the thumbnail, I'm going to talk about why he's terrible, why I think he has potential to actually be good, and how I would change him if I were, you know, the game changer, the power that be. With that, I'm going to just jump right into it. First of all, the Ugnaught, based on his tags alone, doesn't mesh. His skills are okay, his stats are okay, but he's only a support light side character. He's not a Galactic Republic, he's not a rebel, he's not a scoundrel, he's nothing except support. And there's not a lot of abilities that really give that concept, that tag alone, any value. And as such, he's just not a solid character, right? There's a lot of characters in this game who are very weak, but because of their tags, they become stronger. They can become sometimes even overpowered, depending on the combinations you put them with. But he is not one of them because he is listed as, you know, just a support light side character. Now, that is specifically because we don't see the Ugnaught in a lot of the canon. He also was one of the first characters in the game, right? He was in the game at launch. And because he was in the game at launch, his abilities have really suffered because of the power creep. Now, for those of you who don't know what the power creep is, it is every time they introduce a new character, they're usually more powerful. But with that, characters that don't have love yet, who haven't been given love, who essentially haven't had a rework, struggle. And that's bad. That's bad because no character should be worthless, right? Every character should have a purpose in this game, and the Ugnaught should have a purpose, but he doesn't. He's not great. Now, the Ugnaught is useful or can be useful against droids, but really because he doesn't have a whole lot of tags, and again, rightfully so, there's not a lot of place to use him. So also with that power creep, he is one of the characters that doesn't have a Zeta. Now, I'm under the opinion that not everyone needs to have a Zeta, but everyone needs to be able to benefit from characters on a team with a Zeta. And I just don't see him with that. I just don't see him benefiting from anyone on that side, on that level. There's just not a Zeta that is specifically designed to help someone like the Ugnaught. And because of that, there really is no real team compatibility. Now, there is potential in the Ugnaught. If you look at his speed, he has 130 base speed. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Now, if you look at this video here, I've pitted a 12-star or 7-star Gear 12 fully maxed out level-wise Ugnaught against the first phase of the Rancor. And this is the first phase. This is the easiest phase. This is phase 1, lowest phase possible. This is a terrible phase. The Ugnaught should be able to do some damage against the Gamorreans. And he does, but really not enough. Really not a lot, as you can see. And he gets taken out pretty quick. Now, the other thing, too, is the Ugnaught has a 49% base potency. That's something that can be maxed very quickly. And I've got potency mods on him. I've brought his speed up to 202. He's fast, he's potent, he hits hard, he's easy to gear, or at least fairly easy to gear, and he's fairly easy to farm. Now, he's not easy to gear all the way to 12, but easy to gear to 10 at least. Because now the Ugnaught does have 3 abilities that really do work in his favor and have a lot of potential. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just go through each of them and kind of talk about what they are and what I would make them if it were up to me. Now, his first ability is called Break Open. It deals physical damage to target enemy. This attack deals 100% more damage and inflicts defense down to droids, which is important, especially in the Hat Raid, especially in the Tank Raid. If you have the ability to deal defense down and you're dealing 100% more damage, that's awesome. The problem is, it's awesome, especially if he's on a team that can allow him to go in his off turn. That is super cool. Now, how I would change it, now, I don't think that the Ugnaught necessarily needs a Zeta, but this would be the Zeta that I give him. If the attack hits a droid, which it most likely would, there's a 50% chance to attack a second time with a 120% more damage, and then a third time, if it hits a second time, then there's a 20% chance to attack a third time at 150% damage. That would be awesome. Or make it instead of like if he attacks out of turn and hits a droid. So it becomes more specific. It's not going to trigger all the time against non-droid characters, but it will trigger more often. That would be awesome. I would love that. But again, that's definitely something that would have to have a Zeta. I don't think that they could just rework the Omega as it is. It would need a Zeta. His second ability, Droid Expert, currently reads, deals special damage to all enemies with a 75% chance to stun droids for 1 turn. I think that alone could be changed to with a 50% chance to stun non-droids, right? So you have a 75% chance to stun droids, and it's 50-50 whether you stun other people. You could leave it as an Omega. It's still powerful. It's still a potent ability, and it's still viable. Or make it a 100% chance to stun droids, and a 50% and leave it at 50% chance to stun other characters, or maybe even a 25% chance to stun other characters. That would be awesome. Again, it's playing off of that level. It's playing off of what he already has, but adding more to it, adding more viability to it. Now his next ability is called One Step Ahead. It says Ugnaught gains 9% evasion for each droid enemy and gains 25% turn meter whenever he evades an attack. Now, if you put the Ugnaught in phase 3 of the heroic tank, or of the tank in general, he's going up against at least 7 droids. That is 63% chance to evade. Again, not terrible. And every time he's going to evade, it's going to be another 25% turn meter. I say bump that up to where it's maybe 10%, instead of just 9%. So it bumps him to 70%. So he's going to have a really high chance at evading a droid, right? Or if he's fighting droids. That would be awesome. Now, what I would like that to read, or how I would change that, would really also depend on what tags I would give him in addition to the support and light side. Now, if I was giving him additional tags, personally, I would give him a rebel or at least a scoundrel tag. Now, in Star Wars Rebels, we have some Ugnaughts who do kind of work with the rebellion. Kind of. It is very tangential, but it still happens. Then we also have, these Ugnaughts. The first time we meet them is on Bespin in Cloud City. They're working with Lando and Lobot. I mean, the carbon freezing chamber that Vader puts Han Solo in, it was already there, right? And the Ugnaughts are just working it because that's what their job was. I think they need to have not only a scoundrel tag, but I also think they need to have an affinity with Lobot and Lando. Not to mention Hondo Ohnaka when he comes to the game. I don't know that he will, but he needs to. He also needs to be in the Solo movie, even for no other reason than to just have a cameo. So many cameoed characters in the movies. Give us Hondo Ohnaka. That would be awesome. But give us Hondo Ohnaka in the game, because I love Hondo. He's freaking amazing. But with that, this specific character should have an affinity with these other characters, with Lobot, Lando, and Hondo, if and when he comes to the game. Now, what I would do, and the way that I would change this, is I would say that he also grants Rebel or Scoundrel allies 5% evasion for each droid enemy, right? You have Lando with a 25 additional % chance to evade a team of droids. That would be awesome. That would be great. Would love that, especially if you had a Rebel team that had a chance to do that. That would be sweet. Now, these are just the abilities that I personally would add. And these are just the ways that I would change him. The Ugnaught is really not a solid character. He's one of my favorite characters. I do like the small little creatures, the ugly ones. I mean, I love Ewoks. I love the Ugnaught. But they're just not great. The Ewoks have gotten some love. They're still super hard to farm. At least Wicket is, and some of the other ones are kind of difficult. But the Ugnaught needs some love. And it would be awesome to see the Ugnaught as part of some kind of Lando, Lobot, Hondo Ohnaka introduction, but the other one reworks. I think that'd be really cool. And he definitely is going to get a rework eventually. We know that. We know that he'll get a rework. We just don't know when. And we just don't know what it'll look like. This is what I think it should look like, because that Zeta on his basic that I mentioned would be ridiculous. But it'd also be a lot of fun to play. What do you guys think? Now, leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, and share. Support the channel, guys. My goal for 2018 is to grow this channel as much as I possibly can. You can help that by clicking on the link below and signing up for a free 30-day trial for Amazon Music Unlimited. Actually, if you follow this link and go to Amazon and buy anything and do anything, it helps the channel. So give it a shot. Check out the link below. Like, subscribe, share. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.